Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, the craziness continues, and the political game of 3D chess is just funny to watch. You take a look at what's going on. By now, you guys have probably heard about the Department of Justice claiming that Tenet Media, that's Tim Pool, that's Benny Johnson, that's Dave Rubin, have supposedly received $10 million from the Russian government to publish content about Russian influence in the 2024 election, right? And of course, how the chain goes, it's like, boy, this sure reminds me a lot of Hillary Clinton and the Steele dossier. But the Russian government supposedly contracted with RT, you guys know RT, who then contracted with Tenet Media, who is the management company for Poole and Johnson and Rubin. And so these guys were basically duped into doing something. Now, if you've watched any of them, Benny Johnson is a big Trump supporter. Dave Rubin is pretty much there. Tim Pool's more of the libertarian. He doesn't really tip his hand into too much. He's more of a libertarian than, a Trump supporter or a Kamala Harris supporter. But so you have Biden's Department of Justice trying to claim that the Russians are interfering in our election to help Trump. Okay, so there's the first part. And of course, they go after these monstrosities of social media content creators, okay? And I think all of us have heard of Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, yada. I mean, they're at conventions and at rallies and have teams and the whole nine yards. I mean, it's a whole full-blown production, right? And a lot of people watch them. I mean, millions of people watch them. So sure, this makes a really good target for the Kamala Harris campaign, for the Joe Biden administration. It has nothing to do with, Harry Sisson, who's being paid by the Democrats, being paid by Kamala Harris to put out propaganda, or the Krasenstein brothers, or any of these other ones, larger media companies doing the same thing the other way. Okay, so Poole, Rubin, and Benny Johnson have all said they have received no funds, no nothing from Russia, yada. Okay, so that's where it starts. Okay, this has all gone down in like the past 24 hours. Until you get to the other side, and the Russians, okay, everybody's favorite Russian, Vladimir Putin, okay, made remarks at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok yesterday. I want to read you this quote, okay? Somebody asked him who he was hoping for was going to win the U.S. election. Putin says, "I told you our favorite, if I may say so, was the current president, Mr. Biden. He was removed from the race," that's how we put that in there, "but he advised all his supporters to support Ms. Harris. So we will do it as well. We will root for her." Of course, the audience kind of applauded and laughed. The funnier part is he went on, he goes, "Secondly, she has such an expressive and infectious laugh that it means she's doing well." Talk about the master troll. Now, with everything coming out about the Harris campaign and Biden saying the Russians are influencing the election to get Trump elected, Putin comes out and says, "No, we're rooting for Kamala Harris." Okay? Just completely destroys the DOJ narrative straight out of his own mouth, right? Which makes it humorous at best, okay? Propaganda is a very powerful tool, no question, okay? That's why these campaigns go after the Harry Sissons and the Krasensteins or Krasensteins, or however you pronounce those two homos' name. But it's just interesting. So now how is the DOJ, Biden's DOJ, going to play this one off? Because the answer is, well, Putin said straight from his mouth he's supporting Harris. Right? Okay. This is where it gets funny. Because why in the world would Putin support Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is just like the rest of the Democrat Party. They want to keep giving weapons and money to Ukraine. I don't think I'd be supporting that. Donald Trump wants to end the war altogether. Well, the only way Putin's going to end the war is if he gets what he wants. Okay. And I don't think that's in Trump's plan to say, sure, here, take all of eastern Ukraine, no problem, just stop shooting people. Okay. It's just absolutely hilarious to see how stupid the Democrat Party is and how they just got completely played, completely trolled by the one that they're claiming supports Trump. Okay. Is there any truth to it? Who knows? Vladimir Putin lies with the best of them, okay? No big deal. But to get played like that, somebody tell me this. Can you imagine Kamala Harris sitting down with Vladimir Putin as president of the United States? She just got played like this over a campaign issue. Imagine her getting played over a nuclear war issue. I mean, remember, Kamala Harris went to Europe, talked to Vladimir Putin, said, you're not going to invade Ukraine. Got on TV that night and said, we talked to Putin and he's not going to do anything, blah, blah. And the next day, Putin went in, okay? You know, Kamala Harris couldn't negotiate a used car sale, you know, let alone international diplomacy. I get a kick out of it because, of course, if I really get down to brass tacks, Putin would certainly rather, if I had to decide whether he was pro-Harris or pro-Trump, I'd absolutely say he's pro-Harris, even though Kamala Harris is supporting Ukraine, right? Why? Because Putin will thrive under a weak leader. Biden was weak. Kamala Harris is weaker. I mean, this is it. Putin can run roughshod over all of Europe if he wants. And all he'll get is mean tweets out of Kamala Harris. That's about, oh, we'll send money to Volodymyr Zelensky and he'll take care of it for us. As his wife goes out and buys a new Bugatti, he buys a new mansion in Miami Beach, and they go on shopping trips down in France and Italy. Okay, you know, remember the Ukrainians training with wooden rifles. You know, sending old men to the front. You know, the meat grinder, as they've called it. No training, no nothing. You know, here's a rifle. Go in there and get shot at and killed. You know, it kind of reminds me of Vietnam for us, where it's like, oh, we'll put the guys through basic training, send them to Vietnam with rifles, but won't give them any ammunition. And, oh, if a bunch of them get killed, so what? Okay. You know, that other great Democrat, Lyndon Johnson, did that. You know, challenge me on that one. I've talked to many Vietnam vets that said that's true. But this is where it's just silly. In the days of social media, it's not like we have ABC, NBC, CBS like we had 50 years ago, and whatever they told you was the news. You know, now, of course, we have independent journalists. We have alt media, if you will, you know, the non-mainstream media, journalist pages, et cetera, that can get us the truth. Sometimes it's wrong, okay? And again, just like I said on the community post this morning, all the media posting about the Hells Angels going to Colorado was wrong. I will say this, though. Most of you guys understood I got played too, okay? I got a kick out of a couple of the comments saying it was irresponsible of me to talk about it. I don't lie. I'm not a professional journalist who lies. Who should I listen to? Don Lemon? Anderson Cooper? I don't know. Brian Stelter? gee, let's pick, any of the other ones. Should I listen to the late night comics because they're professional, and they tell you the truth? Right. Okay. No, you try to find the information and you go with it. Reading all this today, this is what you got to understand. Everything in politics is a psyop. Okay. They'll all play it one way or the other. It's up to us to separate the wheat from the chaff, to figure out what's true, what's not. Some of these guys are really good. Vladimir Putin is a first-class troll. There is no question. Okay. How are they influencing the election? There's the example right there. Where's Congress? Where's the Republican-controlled House out today saying, Russia's interfering in the election. They're pro-Kamala Harris. We need to stop that. Have we heard that? We might get a strongly worded letter lately. But yes, this is where we're at. It's up to you, it's up to me to do as best of research we can to find out what the truth is. Do I believe Russia would rather see, that China would rather see, that Iran would rather see a Kamala Harris presidency? Yup. Would all of Europe rather see it? Yup. Because it'll make the United States weaker than we already are. Economically, militarily, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And ultimately, it all goes back to what I've said 100 times before. This is why I believe in isolationism. F the rest of the world. You're on your own. We'll do what we want to do. You do what you want to do. Just stay the hell out of my country, because I don't care what you think. Vladimir Putin, Olaf Scholz, Emmanuel Macron, Justin Trudeau, Ayatollah. I don't care. You have no influence over me. And that's the way it should be. Pinball out.